I've been living and working in Molokai, Hawaii for the last few months, and I've learned two things. One is that just as there are people who would love to come to the Hawaiian Islands, there are many people who would love to leave these Hawaiian Islands and visit elsewhere. Second of all, there are a lot of great opportunities to fly to other bucket list destinations from here. Places like New Zealand, Australia, Japan, all at a great price using your points and miles. And so even if you're not based in Hawaii, I recommend you watch this video because you just might be inspired to take a positioning flight over to the Hawaiian Islands, enjoy everything here, and then move on to your final destination. And so this video is going to be split into two sections. One is going to be all about where you can go and how much it's going to cost you. The second section is all going to be the how do you find the award availability and the tutorials. And so I will have timestamps down the bottom for you. Skip around as you please. Just be sure to like this video and comment if it's been helpful for you. It helps me out a lot. And now if you're new to the points and miles world, it's a way to travel the world at a steep discount by using the credit card rewards you earn on your daily expenses. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how to use those points and miles to book these cheap flights and maybe even transferring points from the credit card company over to an airline partner to find these great deals. Now to help you get started, linked in the description, I do have my first free vacation guide, which will familiarize you with all these concepts. Or you could check out my YouTube channel page. I have some videos targeted to the beginner to help you out. Now enough of the intro, let's get into some of these sweet spots here. Had to come in because it's getting hot outside, but I wanted to show you the first sweet spots to go to and from the mainland. There's a couple different options, but I want to highlight two of them for you. One is that you're able to fly on United Airlines flights for just 10,000 points one way to and from Honolulu. And to do this, you'll have to transfer your Capital One, City, or Bilt points over to Turkish Airlines. Turkish Airlines is a part of the Star Alliance, so you're able to book United flights for just 10,000 points one way. It's an unbeatable deal if you can get 20,000 points in economy round trip. Now the issue is it is a bit tricky to book this flight. I have a video dedicated all about how to do it, so be sure to check that out, linked up above and also in the description. The second option is going to be with Southwest. If you don't know, Southwest offers a companion pass, which will let you choose someone as your designated companion, and whatever flight you book, whether it be with points or with cash, they'll be able to fly with you for free for only the price of taxes and fees, which is just $5.60 one way. Now, in order to earn this, you do have to earn 135,000 points in a calendar year. It is very doable. It takes a little bit of strategy. I've got a video all about it linked up above as well. If you're flying with a loved one or a family member, I can't tell you how worth it this deal is. Me and Maddie have been using it for the last 3 or 4 years now. But now let's get into some of the fun destinations. Japan is one of the easiest and most desirable locations to visit from Hawaii, and there are a lot of different ways to get there. I'm going to highlight 5 redemptions for you. It's good to know all of them because the more options you have, the more award availability you can pick from. Our first partner is going to be with American Airlines miles. You can fly economy for 32,500 miles and about $5 in taxes and fees. However, I wouldn't really use your American Airlines miles for economy in this redemption. I'd recommend you save those points for a business class option or for a different flight altogether. Business class will just cost you 52,500 miles and again around $5 in taxes and fees as well. Whenever you redeem your miles with American Airlines, you're going to be flying on either Japan Airlines flights or Hawaiian flights directly to Japan. Sadly, American Airlines has no transfer partners for many flexible currencies. You can only earn those miles if you get an American Airlines credit card or if you earn miles in a number of different ways, which I highlight in a different video I made all about that subject. But our next way of booking these Japan Airlines flights is actually going to be with Alaskan Airlines. Now, Alaska does charge a little bit more, costing 60,000 miles one way in business class, and they have less availability than American Airlines. However, they do have two advantages. One is that Alaska Airlines actually has a free stopover program to where, let's say you're flying to a different destination in Asia, and if you fly Japan Airlines to Japan first, you could book a free stopover to where you could spend a few days in Japan before moving on to your next destination like Thailand, for example. The second advantage is that you can now transfer points over to Alaska Airlines. And this is because Alaska and Hawaiian Airlines are currently going through their merger. So if you have a bunch of Hawaiian miles, you can transfer those Hawaiian miles over to Alaska Airlines and make redemptions on Alaska Airlines' program. In addition to that, because American Express transfers over to Hawaiian Airlines, you can transfer your points from American Express over to Hawaiian and then from Hawaiian to Alaska. I will link the website to transfer your points from Hawaiian to Alaska and vice versa in the description down below so you know how to access that. Now, there's actually a third way worth mentioning in terms of how to book these flights on Japan Airlines, and that's going to be with British Airways Avios. You could book this flight for 62,000 Avios, which is the same thing as points or miles, but it will cost you a little bit more at $150 in taxes and fees. Again, this is in business class on Japan Airlines, which is a great product. Now, the two great things about British Airways is that they are a transfer partner of everyone. All of the flexible currencies except Citi transfer directly to British Airways. However, Citi does transfer over to Qatar Airways, and Qatar Airways also uses the same currency, Avios, so you could transfer from Qatar over to British Airways and then make this redemption. The second best thing about this is that British Airways regularly has transfer bonuses as high as 30%. So that would bring that 62,000 point price down to just 48,000 points one way, and that would be a great deal. If you run into the situation where you need to know how to transfer your Avios from one partner to another, I do have a video dedicated to that, by the way. And then finally, the sweetest of sweet spots in business class to Japan is going to be on ANA Airlines. However, you're going to be using your Virgin Atlantic miles. Doing this will get you that business class flight from Honolulu to Tokyo for just 37,500 miles. Taxes are going to be higher, around the $200 to $300 range one way. But again, the two extra perks about this program is that everyone transfers to Virgin Atlantic, no questions asked, and there are often regular transfer bonuses, as high as 40% in this case. However, 30% is more common. If you hit a 30% transfer bonus at the time you want to make this redemption, it'll cost you just 27,000 miles one way for business class. That's cheaper than an economy flight with some other partners, and so that's just insane. I will say this redemption is not incredibly easy to make. Award availability is pretty scarce. However, it is easier to make this redemption in Hawaii than it is from the mainland. And to do this is a bit tricky. You have to call them over the phone. I have a video dedicated to booking business class on ANA, as well as with Japan Airlines, 2 dedicated videos. So be sure to check those out whenever you're looking for award availability. That'll be your guide. Now, I didn't really talk about economy flights all that much except for American Airlines, just to give you some context, and that's because there are a lot of great cash fares from Honolulu over to Japan. Now, you can definitely still use your points and miles to book these economy flights, but it does take a little bit more nuance to try to figure out if you're getting a decent deal for your points, because you don't want to waste your points. You want to make sure you're getting a good value. So I'm going to show you exactly how to determine that within the tutorial section later on in this video, but here are some other decent economy redemptions depending on the price of the flight. The first one I found was with Delta Airlines. They have an off-peak basic economy redemption for just 14,000 points and $5 one way. Even if it's basic economy, I just think that's incredibly cheap. Again, that'll be off-season, and Delta has dynamic pricing, so who's to say whenever that price will come around again. Dynamic pricing essentially means that Delta could charge whatever they want, whenever they want, however they feel like it. And now you can earn Delta miles outright from Delta credit cards, etc., or you can transfer your American Express points directly to Delta as well. British Airways also has economy redemptions for 21,000 points and $154. And again, if you get a transfer bonus, that would be great. And then Avianca Life Miles, which is a transfer partner of Capital One, American Express, and Citi, will have an economy option for 28,000 points and $27 one way. This will often be on ANA. So those are going to be all the economy redemptions, and that rounds up all the sweet spots for Japan. Our next destination is Korea, but first, if you're getting confused and lost as far as which transfer partner is for which bank and which airline, etc., I have a free transfer partner guide in the description that you can download. And then whenever you sign up for that, you'll get a welcome email from me where I'll send you all of my freebies that I have to offer, including a companion guide to book ANA business class, a lounge access guide, and so much more. You're gonna love it. I'm glad you're here. So now let's get you to Korea using your points and miles. And so to this destination from Hawaii, there are some clear-cut great economy deals. And here are the ones I would recommend. First one's Virgin Atlantic. You could fly in Korean Air on economy class for 25,500 points and about $40 in taxes and fees. Sadly, there's no business class seats that are really bookable with points and miles that I've been able to find, but like I said, Virgin Atlantic is a transfer partner of everyone and with regular transfer bonuses, so if you can get one of those, that will make this deal incredible. Especially since flights to Korea typically priced around $450 to $500 one way. Now our next partner is with Avianca Life Miles. For just 27,500 miles and around $40 in taxes and fees, you can fly one way in economy. You can fly directly with Asiana Airlines, or you can fly on ANA with a layover in Japan. And they also have a good business class redemption of 48,000 points one way and around $60 in taxes and fees. Again, you'll be flying the same airlines in business class though. I was only able to find availability on 1 or 2 dates. If you have trouble finding availability on the way there, you can search on the way back. You might have a little bit more luck. That's just a little extra tip for you. And now you do have a couple other options for business class, including American Airlines. Again, 52,500 miles, one-way business class either on Hawaiian Airlines directly to Korea or with Japan Airlines with a layover in Japan. That same Hawaiian Airlines flights that we found on American Airlines, you can also book that with Hawaiian miles. It'll just cost you 65,000 points. Both of these partners will charge you minimal fees around $5.60. And then the next partner, Air Canada, they have a theoretical business class flight that you could book for 55,000 miles. However, I haven't been able to find this. This would have been with Japan Airlines directly to Korea. Most of the time though, you'll find just the 35,000 point economy redemption, which is just okay. I really only mention it because we don't have a lot of options if you just have a bunch of chase points. And then our last partner is going to be Alaska Airlines, where you can find a 30,000 point redemption with Korean Airlines directly to Korea nonstop. And then there's also 60,000 point redemptions. Most of the time that I found these, it's actually going to be with Japan Airlines with a layover in Japan. And so those are kind of the sweetest deals I was able to find to Korea. Now, before we dive into our next continent, make sure to like this video if it's helpful for you. And I never got to introduce myself. My name is Michael with Nurse Michael Travels. I'm just a nerdy nurse that really likes to travel, take his wife to all of our bucket list destinations. And I like to do it saving money using points and miles. And so if that sounds like your jam, make sure to subscribe and follow along as I release these helpful videos for you. So let's get going. Australia and New Zealand are two dream destinations that are easily accessible via Hawaii. So I'm going to share how to use your points and miles to get there. Now, a lot of these redemptions are going to overlap, but there are a couple key differences here. Our first partner is going to be Hawaiian Airlines. You can fly directly to Sydney, Australia, or to Auckland, New Zealand via Hawaiian Airlines for just 40,000 points economy and about 65,000 points in business class. Both of these redemptions will be about $45 in taxes and fees on the way there. It's going to be a bit more on the way back though. Next up is American Airlines. They've been a go-to for every destination and it doesn't stop here. You can fly business class either on Hawaiian or Qantas Airlines for 65,000 points as well, around $30 in taxes and fees. The economy is going to run you 37,500 miles one way as well. So these flights, like I said, will either be on Qantas or Hawaiian. It will fly directly to Australia. You could fly directly to New Zealand, but more often than not on American Airlines, you'll probably see a layover in Sydney before moving on to New Zealand. And then we've got Qantas Airlines, which is the first time I've mentioned this partner. They are a transfer partner of American Express, Capital One, and City Points. Now you can use Qantas miles to fly to Australia for just 26,000 miles and about $140 in taxes and fees. And that's going to be in economy. But it's important to note that this lower 21,000 point price is going to be with their budget carrier, Jetstar. The pricing for economy in Qantas Airlines is going to be 31,000 miles. And so you'll want to be sure that you pick the Qantas Airlines option because that is going to be the better quality experience. And flights using cash with Jetstar are actually really cheap, and so it may not be the best use of miles. Again, we'll talk about it over the tutorial to determine that. If you look at award availability on Qantas as well, you'll see business class at 62,000 points, but this will be business class on Jetstar more than likely. There's very limited availability with Qantas Airlines, and so be sure to look up reviews and know what you're getting into at Jetstar business class. It's not the same as traveling with a legacy or a regular carrier in their business class, so it might not be worth that 62,000 points. And then we've got Air Canada, which is essentially a transfer partner of everyone except Citi and Wells Fargo, so you can use your Chase points and American Express and Capital One points for this option, but you can actually find flights on Air New Zealand. It's going to cost you around 35,000 points in economy, and business class is supposed to be 75,000 points with taxes and fees running around the $90 range depending on the conversion rates. But business class, I'll say, is nearly impossible to book. Even from the mainland, you can only find availability within a few days of departure. I haven't seen any from Honolulu specifically though. Alaska Airlines might be an okay redemption in economy for 30,000 points. You'll be able to fly over to New Zealand via Fiji Airways with a layover in Fiji. And now if you ask me, this would be a great time to take advantage of Alaska Airlines' free stopover program. And then also with Alaska Airlines, you can find flights to Sydney for 37,500 points in economy via Qantas, or an occasional 75,000 points with Qantas business class. I've seen one or two redemptions for that price. And now we've got a couple island hits. I mentioned Fiji earlier. You can fly directly to Fiji from Honolulu via Fiji Airlines, and you can do this with just 21,000 Qantas points. It'll be about $30 on the way there, but on the way back, you'll have higher fees around $140. And again, the transfer partners are American Express, Capital One, and Citi. If you hit a transfer bonus, it may be a great value. Otherwise, you'll want to run the numbers. It could be still a good value depending on the cash prices for these flights. And then we haven't mentioned this one yet, but let's not forget Tahiti, which is a great gateway to get to Bora Bora. you could book direct flights from Honolulu to Tahiti with Hawaiian Airlines and your Hawaiian miles for as low as 27,500 points and around $6 in taxes and fees in economy class. And you could even theoretically book this via JetBlue's program for just 20,000 points one way. And whenever you book it through JetBlue, you'll also be flying on Hawaiian Airlines, but you'll see a lot more availability via Hawaiian's program itself instead of JetBlue. Then, like I said, once you get to Tahiti, you could then take a quick flight over to Bora Bora, stay at a luxurious villa there, or you could just enjoy Tahiti itself. So those were the sweetest of sweet spots I could find flying from Hawaii. And I didn't state it explicitly, but maybe you would guess, these flights are all from Honolulu. Maui, Kauai, and Big Island don't really have any international destinations directly from the airport, so most of these flights are originating in Honolulu. Whenever you're going to book these flights using one of these partners, especially whenever you're looking at American Airlines, Alaska Airlines, or maybe even Avianca Life Miles, feel free to push the barriers a little bit. Instead of searching directly from Honolulu, you can maybe plug in your own home airport, see if there's award availability, and if it'll price it out at the same price, saving you a few bucks so you don't have to pay for that inter-island flight. Also, whenever we talk about these same partners and redemptions over to Asia, like Japan or Korea, if you want to go to other Asian countries like Thailand or Vietnam, Cambodia, just put in that as a destination. And if there is award availability, you might be able to find that you could book that same flight from Honolulu, have a layover in Japan or in Korea, and make it all the way to Cambodia or Thailand or wherever you want to go from there. And a lot of times, depending on who the partner is, it might be the same price. So that's an extra tip there. Don't be afraid to push the envelope and just check to see what's really out there. But now let's get into the how-to/tutorial section. I'm going to first show you how to tell if you're getting a good deal with your points if you're booking in economy. Then I'm going to show you how to navigate Hawaiian Airlines. Make sure you know how to find award flights on their website because they're not searchable on any award search tools. And then from there, I'll show you how to use various award search tools to find some of this award availability. We'll go into specific niche airline programs as needed, and then we'll go from there. And so here I've got a round trip basic economy flight on Delta Airlines, and this is going to be for 28,000 miles, $50.71. And so in order to start the process, you're going to take this 28,000 and the $51, and then you're going to write those down. I made this calculator here. It's the Award Redemption Analyzer. It helps you evaluate award redemptions. And so you don't need a calculator. I'll show you how to calculate this yourself, but for the sake of this video, this makes it a lot easier. So in this calculator, I'm going to type in the points price and the taxes and fees. And then what we'll need is we'll need to compare it to the cash price of this flight, whether it be the exact same flight or a similarly priced flight. And to do that, all you'll need to do is just go to Google Flights, type in the itinerary and the same dates. And as I can see, the cheapest flight I could find is $669. So I'll go ahead and type that into the cash price line here. Now, as you can see, it automatically calculates my cent per point value. And now cent per point, or CPP for short, it tells you just that. It is just as it sounds. It tells you that for every single point that you spend, you're actually getting 2 cents back. And now if you compare this to just cashing out your points, you're only getting 1 cent per point. 100 points is going to give you $1. And so this is giving you double your value by using your points for this specific redemption. And so that's where the value lies into making this calculation. Because as you'll see, it's not as clear cut, because getting 2 cents per back, that is a great redemption, especially for an economy booking. But let's say you don't have Delta miles or you don't have American Express points that you can transfer over. And I told you that British Airways had a decent sweet spot for economy flights for as low as 21,000 points one way. Round trip will cost you 41,500 points and $341 in taxes and fees. So if we plug that in, it'll give you 0.79 cents per point, which is crazy low because, like I said, you just get 1 cent per point whenever you redeem it for cash. So in this case, you're better off cashing out your points on that 1-to-1 ratio and paying for this flight outright. And I also mentioned there was a transfer bonus that may be going on, but I did also mention that transfer bonus is possible. So let's say there is a transfer bonus of 30%, it'll readjust that, and it's 1.03 cents per point. So better than cash, but still not a great redemption. I would save your points and figure something else out. And just to further drive it home, this is the Avianca Life Miles rate that I mentioned earlier in the video, 27,500 miles each way, a little bit varying taxes and fees on the way back. So altogether, that'll give you 1.01 cents per point. You know, I mentioned you can cash them out, but you also might get a bonus if you're using a travel portal. For example, if you have Chase points, the Chase Sapphire Preferred will give you 1.25 cents per point whenever you book travel through their travel portal. If you have the Sapphire Reserve, it'll give you 1.5. If you have an American Express card and you're paying for a flight, it'll give you 1 cent per point. So depending on what points you have, that might be an option for you as well. So this is a nice exercise to make sure that you're getting the maximum value from your points. Now there are a lot of variables. For instance, if this same redemption, if the cash prices were high, let's say they're $800 one way and there's a 30% transfer bonus, you're getting 1.44 cents per point, which isn't terrible for an economy redemption. If you had the Sapphire Reserve, then yeah, for sure, go book through the travel portal. But if that's all you have and you don't want to pay for cash for this flight, then I wouldn't blame you for making that award reservation. A lot of variables, a lot of weeds that you can get into, but it's a useful thing to calculate just to make sure you know what you're doing. Now, if you didn't want to purchase this calculator, the way you calculate this cent per point is there a transfer bonus? If so, what you'll need to do is you take the points price that it's supposed to be, whatever this percentage is, add a 1 to it. So in this case, it'll be 1.3. You would divide the points price, divide it by 1.3. That'll give you somewhere near 32,000 points. Then you take the cash price of whatever you're booking, subtract it by the taxes and fees, then divide that number by the number of points that you're using, multiply that by 100, and that'll give you this nice 1.44. So it's kind of a pain in order to do all that. However, I made this calculator to make it easy for you. So that'll be linked in the description if you're interested. Now, just a tip, whenever you're coming up with the cash price as far as how much you should value this award redemption, just be careful of some budget airline carriers. For example, this flight from Honolulu to Sydney, there's a $334 flight that you can book, but it's with the budget carrier. If you're really never going to fly that budget carrier, then you may want to compare it to a redemption that's similarly priced to what you would pay for, like United or Hawaiian Airlines. And then there are some other semantics that you can get into. For example, if you're trying to find the value of a one-way business class booking, some people recommend that you take the round trip business class flight price, divide that by 2, and that'll give you a more accurate representation of the value instead of taking a one-way business class flight on Google Flights, because those prices are typically elevated. But again, that's kind of getting into the weeds. Let me know if you have any questions about it down in the comments. Now let's talk how to find award flight availability on Hawaiian Airlines, because Hawaiian Airlines is one of those that aren't searchable on any award search tools. And so this is hawaiianairlines.com, and the first thing you'll need to do is create an account and log in. Once you log in, you'll be able to see this miles option. And so it's pretty simple. Just type in where you want to go, Honolulu to New Zealand, for example, put in a random date, and as you can see, it does block off whatever dates don't have any availability, which is really nice because you don't want to waste your time sifting through random dates. And so once you select whatever you're looking for, go ahead and hit search flights. I like to search one way at a time. And then it will pull up both your main cabin and your business class options, which is nice. And as you can see, the business class price is 130,000 points, not the 65,000 I mentioned earlier. And that's because Hawaiian Airlines, they do have somewhat of a regional based pricing, but they have kind of the Saver Award space and then kind of the higher price that isn't Saver Award space. And so you'll want to find that Saver Award space to save the most amount of miles, of course. And so what you'll have to do is there's not a calendar option. You'll really just have to kind of pick and choose different dates and kind of a hunt and peck type situation. And so as you can see, here's that 65,000 miles. If you just go to this date instead, they've got 2 seats left, lie flat seats, and it's competitively priced with the main cabin. So as you can see, for just 15,000 more, that business class seat. Now that's how simple. Now I said Hawaiian Airlines isn't searchable in any award search tools. However, you can still use them in order to find some of this availability. Let me show you. So this is Seats.Aero. It's an award search tool that will help you find award availability. I have detailed videos about it. You can see one linked up above. But in order to find Hawaiian Airlines flights, we're going to select this Explore feature, and then you can use either American or Alaskan Airlines, but American Airlines seems to be a little bit more accurate. So what this tool does, takes all of the award availability it can find on American Airlines and puts this in this nice little neat complicated looking chart. And so what we're going to do is go from North America. Let's say we're trying to go to New Zealand. You can select Oceania, select full year, which is a pro option. It's $10 a month in order to get full year of availability. It's worth it if you're going to be searching for a lot of award flights. Under these airline filters, you'll need to go to Hawaiian Airlines, and then you could just sort it by business class flights. As you can see, it's going to show us flights for kind of anywhere within Oceania. If you wanted to find New Zealand flights, just type in AKL. You can also select the airports from here, but I just think it's easier whenever you type it in through here. And if you wanted a specific date, you can go 2025. You can type in 04 for April. You just want to type it in the same format that it is here, and it will kind of filter that out for you. And so as you can see, there's 6 business class flights, and then you can press this I button here, select business class, and you can see that it is indeed Hawaiian Airlines. And now as you can see, it's 65,000 points and $41. This may not always be the case that it's the same price that it is on Hawaiian Airlines. So if you remember, this is all on American Airlines program. So you can find these bookable with American Airlines miles. So we can use this tool in this fashion because whatever Hawaiian Airlines award space that American Airlines has, Hawaiian Airlines should also offer that same dates at that same price. So as you can see, April 23rd had that 65,000 mile price, the 25th did not. We can see the 23rd on Seats.Aero has that price and the 25th does not here. So in this case, this is all true. However, it's not 100% accurate. Sometimes Hawaiian Airlines might have some additional award space that Saver awards that American Airlines doesn't. And also note that this last seen here was 11 hours ago. So that means if this award space goes between now and 11 hours ago, it would show up on Seats.Aero, but it wouldn't show up on Hawaiian Airlines. So this isn't 100% up to date. So take that into consideration. Always check award availability before you transfer any points and miles from the bank to an airline program. So that's how you find award availability on Hawaiian Airlines specifically. So you can use these same strategies to find award space on programs that we talked about, like Alaska Airlines, American Airlines, JetBlue for that cheap price over to Tahiti. You've got Qantas Airlines as well, and even Virgin Atlantic. So just as a second example, if you type in North America, Asia, Virgin Atlantic's program, and then if you simply type in H&L and ICN for the airports, it'll show up here. And then you can filter it by economy price, and these are going to be all your dates for that 25,500 mile award pricing to get to Korea one way. To do the opposite direction, just select the swap regions and reverse the search. Now, if you're hung up that this is a paid tool, don't worry, I've got a free option for you as well. And that's going to be Pointsyeah.com. It works differently than Seats.Aero. It's a bit more intuitive. It kind of has this Google Flights search thing going on. So you just type in where you want to go, what dates you want to look for. On the free version, it'll search 4 days at a time, but I have the pro subscription, so it'll search a week for me. And then you've got these filters here. So select the number of passengers you want to do, and you can filter for the cabin if you know exactly what you want, or you can just search all of them, and then you'll hit yeah. And then typically within 20 seconds, it's a really fast tool. It'll pull up all the different award availability options for these dates within these two airport routes. Just to look at some of our results, we've got that Qantas flight on Fiji Airlines for just 25,000 points. This is an economy. You got some Alaska Airlines, life miles options, etc. So let's say you just have Chase points. You can go to bank programs and just select Chase only options. Or let's say you're looking for that business class award space. Go ahead and select only on business class, and it will show you that American Airlines spot on Hawaiian Airlines. So like Seats.Aero, Pointsyeah doesn't search on Hawaiian Airlines award program specifically. However, we can still use that same logic to where if it's available on American Airlines, then it should be available on Hawaiian Airlines and go search on them directly. But as you can see, there are some other options here. So a pro about Pointsyeah is that it searches a lot more airlines than Seats.Aero does, including Avianca Life Miles. However, they still don't search Hawaiian Airlines, like I said, but also British Airways. So those two programs you might want to search independently on their own website. Now, quick tip, if you're looking for flights on Avianca Life Miles, you can search on Pointsyeah.com. However, if you want a calendar view option, if you search on the airline's website directly on lifemiles.com, you can find a calendar option whenever you use that. It's not 100% accurate all the time, but it is a nice tool. Now, if you're interested in how to search for award availability on Japan Airlines, or if you want to learn more about these award search tools in general, check out either of these videos. I'll see you in the next one.